The Jets were flying on home ice, up 2-0 on the Blues. Then the series shifted to St. Louis, and they got shelled. Outscored 12-3, lost both. The series is now heading back to Winnipeg. So what happened and what now? To speak to that, here's the coach, Bruce Boudreau. Bruce, the Blues have won 14 straight on home ice. Why are they so much better at home? How did this series shift dramatically like this in the last 2 games?
Well, to answer your first question, sometimes it's impossible to if you're a coach to say, how can we be so good at home and not so good on the road? And it's the burning question that drives all of us coaches nuts. But I mean, obviously, St. Louis feels it. They feel they can't lose at home. But as far as the second part of that question, when you think that how good St. Louis did play, quite frankly, in Winnipeg, I think the question is, what's happened to Winnipeg? How come they could play so much better at home than they did on the road? And they were, quite frankly, not very good in either St. Louis game. And I don't know what it is, but I do know one thing. I mean, they allowed 12 goals in those 2 games. They didn't compete anywhere near as hard enough in their own zone, and they didn't give Hellebuyck a lot of protection. And when you have those things going on, then nothing good's going to happen. And I mean, Hellebuyck wasn't really as good as he normally is, and I wonder if he's asking himself questions. Uh-oh, here we go again. But these are the times that the team needs to help out. They need to block shots. They didn't have a blocked shot in the 3rd period. They didn't, and only 2 forwards blocked shots. And St. Louis is getting all their point shots in, and they're winning the battles in front of the net. This is where Winnipeg's got to get a lot better starting tomorrow.
All right, great observations from you on the outside looking in. But if you're in that scenario and you're coaching this team, when something like this happens, how does the coach get things back on the rails? How do you help a team to regain its emotional composure and believe again?
Well, I mean, I think that the day off is really going to help this team. I think it's something that Winnipeg has had a couple times during the course of the year where they've lost a couple and they've got back on the rails. I think it's up to them to be positive, to show positive stuff, to show what they can do. I think they might get some reinforcements back in for the next game. I think it's going to really help. But I mean, for the most part, I think they just got to have the group pull together and say, hey, listen, this goalie has pulled us out of a lot of holes this year. It's time we pull him out of a little bit of a hole that he's in right now and give him some help, because they haven't given him enough help. Hellebuyck's got to be a little bit better. I think if he makes that one big save right off the bat, he'll be back to where it is. And the Winnipeg fans are definitely going to give these guys a little bit of jump that they didn't have in St. Louis.
All right, let me follow up on that. Hellebuyck's given up 11 goals in the last 2 games. He got pulled in both. They lost both. They're obviously going to stick to him. Scott Arniel said he's 100% confident in Connor Hellebuyck, and we understand why. As a coach, when your goalie is going through something like this, do you talk to him? Do you pull him aside? Or do you leave him alone, given all the experience this guy has?
Well, you know what? I guess Scott knows him an awful lot better than I do. I mean, but if it's in a history situation, I wouldn't say too much to him, except give him a pat on the back and saying, you're my guy, and you're the best goalie in the league, and I got all the faith in you in the world. Don't, and I mean, but outwardly, I don't want him to lose confidence. He looked like he lost a little bit of confidence by looking over at the ref to seeing if there was an interference call. Almost felt like he felt a little bit of shame when he got pulled because he didn't come back on the bench. So, I mean, if I'm doing anything, it's putting my arm around him and saying, you're the best goalie in the world, and we're going to stick with you, so don't worry about anything. Just go out and play your game.
Hellebuyck is a finalist. He just got announced today for the Vezina. Forget finalists. He's going to win the Vezina this year. We know that. He started 62 of the 82 games this season. We appreciate the fact they were looking for the President's Trophy and home ice throughout the playoffs, and they got that. But are they paying the price now for working him too hard during the regular season? Was it too much for Hellebuyck? Is he just too tired right now?
I don't think he's tired at all. I think they gave him enough rest. It was not like, I mean, especially at the end, these games were not pressured. I mean, when he had to play in the 3 games in the last 10 games where he had to play really good in Vegas, against Dallas, against St. Louis, he was on top of his game. So I don't think fatigue is the answer, where I think fatigue last year was the answer. I don't think there's any excuses. I mean, there's except that he's got to be able to make that big save at the right time. He hasn't made it in the last 2 games. He's made it all year. He will make it again tomorrow. I'm sure of it. But he needs a little bit of help. I think they've let him out to dry a little bit, and they got to get in shooting lanes. Like I said, they got to block shots. They got to help him a little bit. If I was the captain, I'd be pulling the guys aside and say, "Hey boys, it's up to us to help the goalie. He's helped us all year. Let's go help him."
Scott Arniel summed it up best. He said it's now a best of 3 and they've got home ice advantage, and that's what they worked for all year long. So he really likes his team's chances. Game 5 goes in Winnipeg Wednesday night, back in front of the whiteout, and they will be ready.